Loving yourself is not selfish, it is essential. When you begin to treat yourself with the kindness, patience, and compassion you've always longed for, everything in your life begins to shift. The way you speak to yourself, the way you walk through the world, and the way you allow others to treat you, all of it changes when you begin with love. So today, I invite you to come back home to yourself. You are your own greatest healer. You are your own best friend. And you are worthy of deep, unconditional love. Starting now. Not when you lose weight, not when you earn more money, not when someone finally sees your worth. You are enough right now in this moment as you are. You have spent too many years trying to become what the world told you you needed to be. More beautiful, more successful, more pleasing, more quiet, more loud, more this, less that. You were taught that your value was something to chase, to prove, to earn. And so you began to hustle for your worth. You tried to shrink yourself to fit into boxes that were never meant for you. You tried to perform for love, to change for acceptance, to hide parts of yourself just to feel safe. But the truth has been here all along. You were born enough, whole, complete, worthy. You didn't need to earn it then, and you don't need to earn it now. Every breath you take is a reminder that life wanted you here. Every heartbeat is proof that you are part of something bigger, something sacred. There is no one else like you on this planet. Your voice, your soul, your energy, these are not accidental. They are gifts. The world needs you to show up, not as someone else, not as a watered-down version of who you think you should be, but as your full, radiant, authentic self. It's easy to forget this truth. The world is noisy. People project their pain, their fear, their expectations. And somewhere along the way, you internalized those voices. You began to believe that you weren't enough unless you were perfect, unless you achieved more, unless you were loved by someone else, unless you were chosen. But you don't need to be chosen by anyone to be valuable. You already are. You don't need to wait for permission to love yourself. You already have that right. Every time you try to change who you are to make others more comfortable, you abandon yourself. But today, you can return. You can come back to yourself. You can stand tall and whisper gently to your soul, I am enough. And the more you say it, the more you will begin to believe it. Because the truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to be remembered. You are not your failures. You are not your past. You are not your childhood wounds. You are not the opinions of people who could not see your light. You are not your bank account, your job title, your relationship status, or your mistakes. You are not broken. You are a work in progress. And progress is beautiful. Think of a tree. It doesn't have to grow a new branch every day to be worthy of sunlight. A tree is enough simply by being. And so are you. You are enough when you're thriving. You are enough when you're resting. You are enough when you're lost and uncertain. Even in your quietest, most tender moments, you are still worthy of love and kindness. Start giving that love and kindness to yourself. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you offer your closest friends. Catch yourself when you spiral into self-judgment. Replace harsh thoughts with gentle affirmations. Wrap your arms around yourself, figuratively and literally, and say, I've got you. I'm proud of you. I love you. You will never become enough by doing more. You become enough the moment you stop believing you were ever not. That's the shift. That's the awakening. That's the miracle. And when you begin to embody this truth, your life starts to reflect it. You begin to set boundaries. You begin to walk away from people, situations that make you feel small. You begin to expect more because you now know you deserve more, not from ego, but from truth, from love. Loving yourself doesn't mean you never change or grow. It means you choose to grow from a place of love, not lack, from wholeness, not deficiency. You stop fixing yourself and start supporting yourself. You stop fighting your reflection and start celebrating your existence. You are already enough. And that is not something you need to convince others of. It is something you must allow yourself to believe. Let that belief settle into your bones. Let it guide the way you speak, the way you move, the way you live. You have nothing to prove, just something to remember. You are already in. You always have been, and you always will be. Your thoughts shape your reality. Every thought you think sends a message to your body, your energy, and your life. You may not see it immediately, but each idea you hold in your mind plants a seed. And with enough focus and repetition, those seeds begin to grow into the reality you experience. When you think thoughts of lack, you create a life that feels lacking. When you dwell on fear, fear starts to control your decisions. When you constantly criticize yourself, you begin to believe you are unworthy, and life responds by reflecting those beliefs back to you through situations, people, and experiences that confirm what you've already decided. But when you shift your thinking, even slightly, you begin to shift your entire life. You start to see things differently, you react differently, you attract differently. Because what you hold in your mind, your body begins to live out. This is not just a spiritual idea. It is a powerful truth that affects every corner of your existence. If you wake up every day believing that life is against you, that people can't be trusted, that love is hard, or that nothing good ever lasts, then that's the lens through which you'll see the world. Even when good things come your way, you'll find ways to doubt them. You'll push them away or sabotage them without realizing it. Not because you're broken, but because your thoughts have formed a pattern and your life has become aligned with those thoughts. But what happens when you begin to think new thoughts? When you begin to tell yourself, I am worthy, even if you don't fully believe it yet? What happens when you choose to think good things are coming my way, even on the days that feel heavy? Something beautiful begins to unfold. The energy around you starts to respond. Your body starts to feel lighter. Your relationships begin to shift. You start noticing opportunities where you once only saw obstacles. And the world begins to reflect back to you the love and worth you've started to affirm inside yourself. It all begins with awareness. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself, even in silence. The quiet whispers like, I'm not good enough or nothing ever works out for me, are not harmless. They are instructions you're giving your subconscious mind, and your life listens. You can start changing your reality by changing your inner dialogue. Start gently. You don't need to force it. You don't need to pretend everything is perfect. Just begin by softening the inner critic. Replace, I'm so stupid with, I made a mistake and I'm learning. Replace, I'll never find love with, I am open to love and it is finding its way to me. These may seem like small shifts, but they are incredibly powerful. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and water will grow. If you constantly plant fear, doubt, and criticism, your life will bloom with insecurity. But if you begin to plant faith, trust, and love, even one small seed at a time, your life begins to bloom in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. This isn't about pretending bad things don't happen. Life can be painful and challenges are real. But even in difficulty, you have the power to choose your response. You can choose a thought that empowers you rather than drains you. You can say, I will get through this, or there's something I'm meant to learn here. These kinds of thoughts don't erase hardship, but they transform how you experience it. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that notices your thoughts. And that awareness has the power to choose again, to begin again, to shift direction. No matter how long you've been thinking a certain way, you can always change the path you're on by choosing a new thought in this moment. There is no magic formula, just presence, just practice, just love. The more you choose thoughts that uplift you, the more natural they become. Over time, those thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs become your identity. And from that identity, you create a life that feels aligned with who you really are, not who the world told you to be, not who pain shaped you into, but the true, powerful, radiant soul you've always been. So be mindful of your thoughts, speak to yourself with love, and when old patterns rise up, don't fight them. Just notice them and choose again, gently, lovingly, You are the creator of your reality, and your thoughts are the tools. Use them with care, with intention, and with love. Because when you change your thoughts, you truly do change your world. Forgiveness sets you free, not because others always deserve it, but because your soul does. When you carry resentment, anger, and bitterness, you build invisible walls around your heart. Those emotions may feel justified. After all, you were hurt, betrayed, or misunderstood. But holding on to them does not protect you, it only imprisons you. Forgiveness is not about pretending it didn't happen. It's not about saying that what they did was okay. It's not about excusing the behavior, forgetting the pain, or giving anyone permission to hurt you again. Forgiveness is about choosing peace over poison. It's about releasing the emotional chains that bind you to that moment, that person, that hurt. When you hold on to pain, it takes up space within you. It crowds your joy, it burdens your mind, and it weighs heavily on your spirit. You may think you're punishing the one who hurt you by refusing to forgive, but in truth, you're only punishing yourself. Every time you replay the offense, the memory, the betrayal, your nervous system relives the trauma. Your energy becomes trapped in the past, unable to move freely into the life you deserve. But there is another way. You can acknowledge the pain and still choose peace. You can speak your truth and still let go. You can remember what happened and still decide that it will no longer control your thoughts, your heart, or your future. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. It takes courage to look at your wounds and say, "This hurt me deeply, but I choose to heal." It takes maturity to understand that by holding on to anger, you give the pain more power. And it takes wisdom to realize that your freedom is more important than your pride. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You carry guilt for the things you did, the words you said, the people you let down, or the moments you wish you could change. But self-forgiveness is where true healing begins. You cannot fully love yourself while condemning parts of your past. You cannot step into your light while dragging the shadows behind you. You are not your worst moment. You are not the choices you made when you didn't know any better. You are not defined by your mistakes, but by your willingness to grow from them. Be gentle with yourself. Speak to your heart as you would to a friend. Say, "I forgive you. I understand you were hurting. I understand you were learning. I give you permission to move forward." And when it comes to others, remember this. Forgiving them doesn't mean you must welcome them back into your life. Some people are meant to be loved from a distance. Forgiveness means you no longer allow their actions to steal your joy. It means you release the burden of carrying what is not yours to hold. Sometimes the person who hurt you is no longer here. They cannot apologize. They cannot change. and yet you can still choose freedom. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not a favor to someone else. You do it for your peace. You do it so your energy is no longer tied to pain. You do it so you can breathe again, love again, and trust life again. Letting go does not happen all at once. Some wounds take time to heal. Some forgiveness comes in layers, and that's okay. Every small step you take toward release is a step toward freedom. Every tear you shed is water for your growth. Every time you say, "I am ready to heal," the universe responds with love. Hold compassion in your heart for yourself, for others, for the complicated, messy human journey we all share. None of us are perfect. We all stumble. We all hurt, and we all have the power to choose love again. Peace doesn't come from being right. It comes from being free. Free from blame. Free from bitterness. Free from the past. So breathe deeply and release what is no longer serving you. Release the anger, release the hurt, release the need for revenge, and in its place, welcome stillness, welcome clarity, welcome freedom. Forgiveness sets you free, and freedom is your birthright. You do not have to wait for anyone else to give it to you. You can decide in this very moment to begin the journey. The road may not be easy, but it is always worth it, because you were never meant to live in the shadows of pain. You were meant to rise, to heal, and to shine. And today, you take your power back. Today, you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve good things, not because you've worked the hardest, not because you've suffered the longest, not because you've earned some invisible reward. You deserve good things simply because you are alive, because you are here, because your very existence is enough. There is a part of you that has been waiting to hear this truth, waiting for permission to stop struggling, to stop proving, to stop chasing worthiness like it's something outside of you. But the truth is, worthiness is not a prize you win. It is a truth you remember. And deep down, some part of you already knows that you were born deserving of love, peace, joy, and abundance. Yet somewhere along the way, the world taught you to doubt that. Maybe you were told you had to earn love by being perfect. Maybe you learned to settle because you didn't believe better was possible. Maybe someone convinced you that dreaming big was selfish, or that wanting more meant you weren't grateful. So you shrank. You quieted your desires. You told yourself this is enough, even when your heart whispered for more. But life was never meant to be a constant struggle. You were never meant to feel guilty for wanting happiness. You were never meant to believe that good things only happen to other people. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to receive with open arms. You are allowed to be both grateful and ambitious. You are allowed to believe that goodness flows to you easily, naturally, because that is your divine right. Start reminding yourself daily, I am allowed to have beautiful experiences. I am allowed to feel peace in my body, to enjoy deep love, to receive unexpected blessings, to wake up excited about my life. These things are not reserved for the lucky few. They are available to all who are willing to believe they are possible. The universe is not withholding anything from you. It is responding to your vibration, to your self-talk, to the beliefs you carry quietly in your heart. When you believe that you are undeserving, you unconsciously push away the very things you long for. You don't answer the call. You don't apply for the opportunity. You don't open your heart fully to love, and then you wonder why life feels so hard. But the moment you shift your belief, even slightly, you open a new pathway. You open the door for miracles. You start to attract people and situations that reflect your inner worth. You begin to notice all the little ways life is trying to bless you, support you, and care for you. You don't have to hustle your way into worthiness. You don't have to be exhausted to prove you're enough. You don't have to be the best, the smartest, or the most self-sacrificing. Your soul does not require performance. It only asks that you return to truth. And the truth is, you deserve good things. You deserve peace, the kind that calms your nervous system and quiets the storm in your mind. You deserve love, the kind that feels safe, reciprocal, and nourishing. You deserve success, not the kind that burns you out, but the kind that brings you alive. You deserve rest, laughter, joy, and fulfillment, not just in moments, but as a way of life. Sometimes life hands us lessons and we begin to confuse pain with destiny. We start to believe that we're meant to suffer, that struggle is just our story. But struggle is not your identity. It is a chapter, not the whole book. You are allowed to turn the page. You are allowed to begin again, to ask for more, to rise above the past. And yes, receiving can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent your whole life giving, proving, earning. But allow yourself to soften, allow yourself to open. Practice saying, I am worthy of this when good things come your way. Don't talk yourself out of joy. Don't minimize your success. Don't reject compliments or deflect kindness. Let it in. Receiving is not selfish, it is sacred. Because when you are full, when you are loved, when you are supported, you become a light to others, you overflow. And from that overflow, you give, not from depletion, but from abundance. You become a living example of what is possible for others too. So stop waiting for the perfect moment to believe in your worth. Stop waiting until you lose the weight, land the job, find the partner, or heal every wound. You are enough right now. And right now, you deserve to feel good about who you are. You deserve to be supported. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to thrive. Say it again and again until your heart believes it. I deserve good things. I deserve love. I deserve happiness. I deserve peace. And so it is. Self-care is a sacred practice. It is not a luxury, not a reward for hard work, and certainly not selfish. It is a deep and divine commitment to your well-being, a loving declaration that you are worthy of your own time, your own energy, and your own compassion. So often, we move through life taking care of everyone else. We put others' needs ahead of our own, believing that our value lies in how much we can give, how much we can do, how available we are to the world. And in that constant giving, we slowly begin to forget ourselves. We forget to rest. We forget to breathe. We forget to listen to the whispers of our body and soul. But you are not here to live in depletion. You are not meant to run on empty. You are not supposed to feel guilty for needing a moment of stillness, a walk alone, a day to recharge. Self-care is how you return to yourself. It is how you replenish your inner well, how you create space for clarity, healing, and joy. It is how you say, I matter, my needs matter, my peace matters. Self-care looks different for each of us. For some, it's taking time in the morning to journal or meditate. For others, it's turning off the phone and soaking in silence. It might be a nourishing meal, a quiet evening walk, or choosing to say no to what drains you. Self-care isn't always soft and pretty. It can also mean setting boundaries, walking away from toxic relationships, or allowing yourself to grieve and feel without rushing into positivity. You must understand that your energy is sacred, your time is valuable, your emotions are real and worthy of attention. When you begin to care for yourself with the tenderness and grace you so freely offer others, your entire life shifts. You stop pouring from an empty cup. You stop begging for rest through burnout. You stop needing permission to slow down or to be human. The world will always ask for more. There will always be another task, another person to please, another deadline, another obligation. But you get to choose. You get to choose yourself. You get to choose presence over pressure. You get to choose rest over resentment. You get to choose joy over just getting by. And when you do, you'll notice something magical. You begin to feel more aligned, more clear, more connected to your purpose. You begin to attract experiences that feel nourishing instead of draining. You begin to embody your worth in quiet, powerful ways. Self-care is not about escape. It is about coming home to your breath, to your body, to your truth. It is about honoring the rhythms of your soul, recognizing when you need stillness and when you need movement, when you need solitude and when you need connection. It's about listening, really listening, and responding with love. There will be voices, internal and external, that try to guilt you for choosing yourself. Voices that call it laziness or weakness or indulgence. But those voices do not speak truth. They come from conditioning, from a society that values productivity over peace. You do not need to earn your right to rest. You do not need to explain why you are choosing gentleness. Let your care be intentional. Let it be sacred. Create rituals that nourish your spirit. Begin and end your days with kindness. Treat your mind with compassion, your body with respect, your heart with patience. Every time you choose yourself, you are declaring to the universe, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of healing. I am worthy of joy. When you care for yourself deeply, you show up more fully for others. You become more present, more authentic, more grounded. You teach others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. You set a powerful example of what it means to honor one's inner world, to listen to the quiet needs that often go ignored. This journey is not about perfection. You won't always get it right. Some days you'll forget to check in with yourself. Some days the world will feel too loud, too heavy. But each time you return, each time you light that candle, take that breath, speak that gentle truth, you are healing. You are remembering. Self-care is not just something you do. It is who you become. A woman or man who is whole, who is no longer waiting for others to give permission to rest, to feel, to simply be. You become a guardian of your own soul, a loving witness to your own life. So take the time, take the breath, run the bath, speak the boundary, say yes when you mean it and no when it's necessary. You are not here to prove yourself through exhaustion. You are here to live fully, freely, and joyfully. Self-care is a sacred practice, and you are sacred too. Mirror work transforms you not because the mirror holds magic, but because it reflects the truth that has always lived inside of you. It is one of the most powerful and intimate tools you can use to connect with yourself on a soul level. Not the version of yourself that you show the world, not the version shaped by fear or past pain, but the real you, the one longing to be seen, heard, accepted, and loved. Each time you look into the mirror and truly see yourself, something shifts. At first, it might feel awkward, even painful. You may be met with judgment, resistance, or shame. You might avoid your own gaze or hear the inner critic speaking loudly. You're not good enough, you're not lovable, you're not worthy. But stay with it. Because beneath the surface noise is a deeper voice, a gentle whisper that says, I am here. I matter. I am enough. Mirror work invites you to face yourself with compassion. It asks you to drop the mask, to quiet the ego, and to meet your reflection as you would a dear friend. It teaches you to soften, to forgive, and to open. When you speak loving words to yourself while looking into your own eyes, you begin to create new patterns in the mind. You begin to interrupt the loop of negative self-talk and replace it with affirmations that nourish the spirit. This is not about vanity. This is about healing. This is about coming home to yourself after years of self-abandonment. For so long, you may have measured your worth by the opinions of others, by your accomplishments, by how little space you take up. Mirror work says, no more. You are not here to hide. You are here to remember who you are. And you are beautiful not because the world says so, but because you decide to believe it. The mirror becomes a place of truth and transformation. It becomes a sacred portal where you rewrite the story you've told yourself. Instead of saying, I'll love myself when I'm perfect, you begin to say, I choose to love myself now, just as I am. And when you repeat those loving affirmations, I am worthy, I am love, I am safe, you begin to believe them, not just in your mind, but in your heart, in your body, in your entire being. This is where the transformation begins. When you practice mirror work consistently, you change your energy. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, and show up for life differently. You start making decisions from a place of self-worth rather than fear. You stop settling. You stop shrinking. You stop waiting for permission to live fully, because you've built a relationship with the one person who will never leave you. And it doesn't take long, just a few minutes each day, standing before your reflection and speaking truth into your soul, even if your voice shakes, even if tears come, especially if tears come, because those tears mean you're peeling back layers of pain that never belonged to you. They mean healing is happening. At first, you may only be able to say, I am willing to love myself. That's enough. Willingness is a powerful place to start. Over time, willingness becomes belief, and belief becomes embodiment. You begin to feel the love you're offering yourself. You begin to trust it. And as your self-love deepens, every part of your life reflects the change. Your relationships become more authentic. You stop attracting people who mirror your old wounds. Instead, you draw in those who respect, honor, and love you as you now do for yourself. Your choices shift. Your boundaries strengthen. Your heart opens, not because you need validation, but because you are full within. Even your body responds to this love. The tension begins to soften. The need to punish or control your appearance begins to dissolve. You see yourself through eyes of compassion instead of criticism. And that kind gaze changes everything. You become your own source of peace, comfort, and safety. There is no right way to do mirror work. Some people begin by simply looking into their eyes and saying, I love you. Others use affirmations, prayers, or moments of silence. What matters most is that you are present, that you are honest, that you allow whatever arises to be held in love. In a world that constantly tells you to seek love outside of yourself, mirror work brings you inward. It reminds you that the love you've been searching for has always been inside, waiting, patient, eternal. So begin. Stand before your reflection. Look into your own eyes, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Speak gently. Be kind. Tell yourself what you wish someone had told you long ago. And then watch as your inner world begins to shift. Watch as your outer world follows. You are your own healer. You are your own source of love. And when you embrace this truth, the mirror no longer reflects your flaws, it reflects your power, your light, your wholeness. Mirror work transforms you because it brings you back to the most sacred relationship of all, the one you have with yourself. And that is where all healing begins.